Welcome to Balance of Payments, Part 2. Looks like China's a little bit cut off. It's okay, I'm not going to edit this part out. Shows you how dynamic this lesson will be. Back to this. We'll start over here. You should have just finished watching a class simulation that laid out balance of payments in a pretty approachable way. We're going to really rehash that same thing, but adding some more content, curriculum to our understanding. So I want to start over here with this table that shows our balance of payments and our current account versus our financial account. When we talk about current account, I want you to really simplify it. And while our textbook gives you an infinitely more robust and nuanced understanding of what makes up the current account, I want to simplify it so that it's more manageable and we can understand it in a way that feels very natural. I want you to simplify current account essentially to NX, which, as we know, is made up of exports minus imports. Exports being the goods and services that, since we're Americans, will be Amerocentric. Exports being the goods and services that Americans sell to the rest of the world. Imports being the goods and services that Americans buy from the rest of the world. So when we really think about current account, we think about that. With financial account, there are many different financial assets, many different particular financial avenues that financial investors look for to make gains, to make profits. We're going to simplify the financial assets that we look at to one specific financial asset, which are bonds. So in this case, when we talk about the financial account, we're talking about our bonds minus their bonds. And what I mean by our bonds is U.S. government debt obligation, U.S. government treasury bills, that are sold abroad to foreigners. So foreigners who lend money to the United States government. And for their bonds, I'm talking about foreign government bonds where American financial investors lend money to foreign governments. So there's a permanent relationship. That's why it's called the balance of payments. We'll go through it in the map in a second. You've already seen it in the simulation. But what we should know moving forward is that the current account is equal and opposite to the financial account. Either way. Now let's go over to the map and see if we can make more sense of this using our language of current account, financial account, exports, imports, our bonds, and their bonds. So if we go over to the map of the United States and China, there are a few assumptions we already understand about this relationship. The United States has a trade imbalance with China. The United States imports a greater quantity of goods and services from China than it exports to China. Let's draw that really quick. We'll put our current account on top, and we have our exports, and we have our imports. Between the two, there is a two-way flow. For the United States, when we export, we are sending goods and services abroad. Food, farm equipment, cars, technology, entertainment, whatever it is that we're selling in China, those are our exports. And we sell a lot of things to China. Lots of American products are purchased in China. And in return, money flows to the United States. On the bottom half, though, we see the imports. And I'll use a different color just to delineate, make it a little easier to see. Here, we see goods and services leaving China and going to the United States, and money leaving America and going to China. Since there is a trade imbalance, we know that exports are greater than imports in this relationship. That's wrong. Let me fix it. I caught myself. Not going to remake the movie over this one. the United States relationship with China, our imports are greater than our exports. So that means that the total value of the goods and services that America sells to China is less than the total value of goods and services that America purchases from China. What does this mean? It means dollars get stranded in China. How? Well, let's say that our exports are, I'm going to make up a fake number, $8. And our imports are $10. That would mean that the current account for the United States in relationship with China is negative $2. What does that mean? It means that Americans spent $2 more than they received. That also means is that there are $2 stranded in China, $2 that you can't spend in China because you need yuan renminbi to buy things in China. And if you are in China and you're stuck with $2 and you no longer want to purchase anything made in America, what are you going to do with that money? You're not going to waste it. You're not going to throw it away. It's no good to you buying things because you don't want those things for whatever reason it is. What can you do with the leftover money? You can financially invest it in the United States. You have US dollars that are good in the United States. You don't want goods and services from the United States, so your money is going to be drawn to financial assets, and those $2 are going to come back to the United States through the financial account, through the sale of bonds.